So hello and welcome back to Subterfuge. This is part 1 of Secret Saboteur, the new game series that me and Clonacy are doing for fun from A to Z. Well, 2 times each day, we're allowed to go into the other person's account and just launch any sub that we want. And it can just basically be anything. We have a few rules that are all laid out in the thread that we talked about it, so you can just go check that all out there. So, this game, it started out pretty normal, but there is one thing different about this game, because I have a confession to make. I'm using an alt account. I really got tired of having Zykes getting all the bad rep, because since it's already weird games, I didn't want people to associate the weirdness of how I acted with the name Zykes, so I switched it over, and plus it didn't look good for my medal count. So I took one of my old alts that I made as a joke for the forums, Googlebot, and I'm using that one now. And plus I wanted to use an alt because, in order to log in, the Clonacy needs to know my password. He will never know my actual password. So yeah, he just knows Googlebots. So it's a pretty standard setup. The Clonacy is a bit closer. You all know Andre the Giant is a Clonacy. He's a bit closer to me than I would have liked. Especially what he would have liked, but that's fine. It's all fine. I'm going to win this. So, fun story. We got how do you even pronounce that? The Tish? So, fun story about him. He's one of the first people to join, probably like first 2 or 3, not counting me and Clonacy. And he joins and he's an L0. And I know from all my previous games, don't let L0s play. They always resign, or they auto-resign, or they just ruin the flow of the game. So I messaged him that like, hey, because you're an L0, I'm not gonna let you play. So then I kicked him. A little bit later, he comes right back. And I kind of messaged him again and said, I don't know if you didn't catch my message, but because you're an L0, can you please not be in the game? I wanted to keep it competitive. So I kick him again. And you think that'd be the end of that? But no, he comes back a 3rd time, and this time he's an L1. He's like, hey look, I'm an L1 now, can I play? And I had to talk to a Clonacy about it, just to figure it out. And me and the Clonacy both agreed that he's so persistent, we should just let him play. I mean, trying to keep him out will probably be harder than letting him play. So yeah, the game starts, and I have a pretty standard setup. I was trying to grab the space. I was going to have an immediate follow-up, but I've got to check Subterfuge, so I ended up losing there. But I'm able to take Tamir for just for the production cycle, but he takes it back quickly. So this is when a Clonacy starts doing it, because I forgot to check Subterfuge, which is very bad, and I started letting my factories build up. So I was actually kind of friendly with Yellow. We were talking about a mutual hatred for the Tish, and then he launches an attack of 32. So I tried to be a bit more thoughtful about it. I move that 40 back so that he can't touch it. But I do get him back right here at Sedna. So I make my only action is launching Sedna away at someone else, and I get to take it for free. And that right there is the reason we can't fight each other. There just be so many gimmicks, so many ways of making it too easy. You could only do it 2 times a day, but if we fought each other, it wouldn't be nice. So I hire a princess as my first tile, just because I knew most of the time the Clonacy would have the power to throw my specialist around. So I just kind of went with a princess so I could keep it moving around and it'd still be useful. So he launches 32 there, and of course Yellow messages me about it, and he launches Clonacy gets on and launches another 52 at Yellow. So in total, that's 84 drillers that I'm losing. And Yellow keeps messaging like, hey, what's going on? And I don't know what to say because I can't just tell him about it. So I just stay oddly silent. And then a Clonacy launches another 38. And it looks like a full-on assault. Of course, Yellow doesn't lose a single base. He just blocks everything. Oh yeah, I also had a smuggler in general, lieutenant later on. But he just blocks everything. So now that it's all over, I've been purposely spacing out my Subterfuge check so that he checks the last on this many hours ago. I wouldn't look like I'm just dodging it. So I apologize, and I'm trying to see if I can make everything right, give some Jellos. I'm kind of trying to take a step back, play a bit more defensive in this match, which is helpful because I have Smuggler, Princess, Lieutenant. I'm getting a Sentry next tile. I basically learned I can't keep anything still, so I start just moving everything around. Yellow hasn't gotten back to me. Of course, the Tish drills are mine, and instantly loses it, because that's what happens when you play with L0s. So I started just shuffling my drills, because I thought, if they're in transit, Clonacy can't mess me up. So that's my way of just stalling everything. Because between all those attacks, Clonacy cost me over 100 drills, and he probably cost me an ally. So that is very expensive. Oh, but I got him back so hard, and I'm so happy about this. So, you just follow his... Let's see, right about here with his queen. Can we see it? He moves it in there. You can see it later. And I just launched his Inspector, which he was using for an offensive queen. And I launch it to his farthest base. I didn't want to launch it towards an enemy because that would just be mean, especially this early on in the game. But that's a 55-hour journey. So in 55 hours he'll get his Inspector back. And I can just laugh. And if someone takes that base, then he loses the Inspector altogether. So I decided I might as well give him a chance instead of just throwing it away, which would be mean. And if I threw it away, then he could just ask for them to gift it back. So that's about all that's happening. I started shuffling all my drillers back and forth so they couldn't take it. And then I realized just a much easier... Oh, he launched another 20 heal because I wasn't watching it. And I learned a much easier tactic that I'm going to be able to abuse. So we said that you can't mess with future orders. That's just the one rule. So I went 40 hours into the future and launched all my specialists. Of course, by then I'm going to cancel the order, but because it would mess it up, I have 40 hours where you can't move any of my specialists. I did it with a couple of the drillers too, but I didn't want to be overly using that exploit. So I mainly did it with all my specialists. You can see those lines showing that they're going to be launched way in the future. But yeah, it's been a pretty normal game. I haven't done too much. I don't even think I've taken any bases. I took Sedna and lost Sedna, and that's about it. But my Sentry Princess should be able to give me a good bit of coverage, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to do well, and at least pull some medal out for Googlebot's first game. Well, I'll see you all next time.